Step in my dojo, you
Step in my dojo, you
step in my.
What is a mud pie, right? You may have heard me use this term. It's I only started calling them mud pies this year, but it's kind of started to catch on with a lot of people. Mr. Bill has adopted the mud pies term now, but a lot of people, like you'll hear people come across this technique because it's been around for a really, really long time. But it's a great way to work, and it's really overlooked with people who are used to using soft synths, okay? It's a big weakness for people who are in the box DAW-based producers, okay? But this technique has been around in the hardware world for a long time. Making a mud pie is where you're trying to make a long recording that has a ton of variety in the recording, okay? It's gotta have a lot of chaos and a lot of stuff that's gonna sound a little bit ugly.
Overtones and like screeches. And
yeah, all kinds of stuff.
everything.
It's going to have weird, awkward, terrible parts of the recording, because the goal of this recording is to generate the maximum amount of sonic chaos and variety as possible. So I'm gonna show you how to make two different kinds of mud pies. I'll show you the classic mud pie, which is just like, you know, when you load up a synth and just try and get a whole bunch of wild and wacky noises out of it. And then from there, I'll show you an effects-based mud pie, which is where you take either a loop or a sample that you've made, and you pile on the effects and make it all glitchy, you know? So that could be like a glitch mud pie or an effect mud pie. And then I'll show you how to take a loop. We'll load a loop in a synth. We'll do some preset shredding to generate a loop menu. And then we'll do glitch mud pie on the loop menu. So that's where we're going. Now, one concern that I just want to start off with when we're making the MIDI here is you got to keep in mind, if you're sampling this, if you play, like sometimes you want to have a ton of different notes, right? But a lot of the time it's nice to just have one note that's like your lowest note that you're going to realistically use, right? And I often will sample it at F, and then I keep everything kind of the same note. Okay, so I'm going to make a nice low F here and make it, I guess, 4 bars long, and hit that legato button. So now we have maybe one lower. Yeah, see, that's we're gonna go this low C. Yeah, let's do this, and then everything will stay tuned later. So I'll do this low C, but you want to do something that's like as low as you're gonna use, right? And then if you keep it that same note, then when you're sampling it later, pitching things up is not too bad, you know, because you're making the audio compressed. It typically will create less artifacts. Whereas if you're pitching something that's really high pitched and you try and make it into a bass, a lot of the time it sounds shitty, and you can hear like the audio quality start to come apart from shifting it down as opposed to up. So I'm going to sample this nice low note, and I'm just going to keep this low note playing. I might do some pitch bends, I might do some LFOs and stuff, but I'm going to keep it kind of centrally around this low C pitch. Okay, so now I'm going to start by calling this hashtag mud pie. The hashtag means that it will retain the track number in Ableton. I'm not sure if it's like that in other DAWs. I'm also going to go save as and put this in the weekly download, so that if it crashes, which it very likely may, if it crashes, that we'll have a backup. One of the great things about mud pies is even if it crashes, you're gonna still have your audio that you've recorded. So it also protects you against crashing. So yeah, very good, great technique for a number of reasons. Okay, so now I'm gonna start this just with this saw wave. All right, so you get the picture. It starts off all fairly innocent.
Yeah. Yeah. What's this? Come with it.
All right, so you get the picture. It starts off all fairly innocent, and then usually by the time you get about halfway through, it gets pretty crazy. So then often you'll notice that there's some pretty wild volume fluctuations going on here. Some people like to compress them and edit them a little bit when they're going from this stage to the next, but it really depends on your style. But yeah, I think it's a lot of stuff just happened. So now I'm going to show you some of the stuff that can be done with cutting up a mud pie, and I guess we'll make a preset shred with the mud pie here. I'll make a loop menu with it. So let's take this mud pie now. And then I'm gonna just pop it into a simpler. And this is amazing. Check this out. If you just go to slice and you go to a slice by regions, and then you crank it up to like 64 regions, which is the maximum, I believe. Here, I'll turn the camera down. So now you can see, basically, as I crank this up and down, you can see it populating the slices onto my push. How sick is that? Super easy. But you can do that in a lot of different samplers or machine or whatever. And now, if I put this over on gate, right? Now, here, I'll mute that, take this, that. Now, so you can see how the volume thing is a bit of a problem now. You kind of want them all to be the same volume when you're chopping them up. So what a lot of people like to do is get everybody's favorite compressor, OTT, and crank it. And then some people who are wild will even do triple OTT like maniacs. That is gonna have no variation in volume left at all, or variation in frequencies. Loud and crazy the whole time now. So now I'm going to freeze and flatten. Actually, here, let's put the mud pie over here. And I'll freeze and flatten. Pretty cool. Now, and you can zoom in on the simpler. The simpler has this nice ability to pop things up. So let's say I like that one, but I wish it was just over a little. I could just drag it over. That one just kind of sucks. Yeah, so now let's make a riff. You can make these two alternate. So I'll do that by just programming some quick follow actions, and then we're gonna do some shredding. So every 4 bars, it's gonna change to the next one. So then these will trade off. Right, killer riffs. So now I'm going to show you how to make an effect-based kind of glitchy mud pie. So I'm going to tell this channel to record from this. And I'm going to basically just preset shred with a bunch of effects and make a further level of Mudpie. Okay, here we go down the rabbit hole. So anyway, you get the picture there. Now we have, what is that? It's like a couple minutes, like crazy noises. So now these ones have been, this is like a Mudpie where I basically made a loop menu where this is like a ton of different versions of this loop. So then let's say I got a beat here. Okay, so now check it out. I'll show you this is the slip editing. So now I want to change just this sound. So it's now we've got, like I say, boom, freak, and then whatever that is. So now I'm going to make a short loop here. That is a 1-bar loop. And as long as you have a 1-bar loop, you can literally, watch this is fucking magic. You can drag the position and you get the same note in the sequence, just with a different set of parameters. Okay? So I'm gonna go 1, 2, right here, 1, 2. Oops, undo. Right, and that works anywhere. Like if let's say I want a different part of the sequence, I'll go over to here. Let's say I want, so I want that part. Then if I drag the bar number, I get that part every time. It's such a good technique. See? It gets you the same part of the bar every time when you move it around. Let's say I want a different one of these. The loop's on. Loop's gonna be 1 bar long, and then so useful. So make that a bar, and then move the loop. that one. Let's take this one. Let's do the loop menu. Make it into one bar. And then you can make your patterns. Now let's say I want a different one here. Let's find one that's more of like a grindy kind of thing. Let's go, oops, undo that. Let's go later, way later. Find this. And let's do play forward in stop mode, put it on beats, transient 16ths. And disgusting, disgusting. And it already sounds like a song, right? So that's Mudpies.